You ever look two grown men in the eye and just know they'd rather see you scared small and out of your own damn home? That was me standing barefoot on my porch while sunrise barely cracked through the pines up here in North Idaho. Shotgun cold in my hands, heart pounding. And for one split second, I swear if I'd flinched or blinked, everything I'd built out here would have just been swept away by a couple bullies in matching HOA polos, looking like they stepped off some bad daytime TV. Let me back up a sec, because trust me, this whole mess didn't start with threats or guns or all this drama. Nah, trouble always comes quiet at first, like a shadow at the edge of your property line, real polite until you ignore it and it grows teeth. My name's Jack Turner, and before all this, I used to build ships for a living. Not the big Navy ones, just good solid boats keel to stern the way my old man taught me, using my hands and my head, not some office software. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe that's why after the divorce, after I sold off my city condo and cashed out every share I had, I came out here, built myself a porch facing east, started each morning with a mug of coffee and the sound of blue jays and deer crunching leaves. No HOA, no committee, nobody with a clipboard telling me where my grass should end or if my shed was the wrong color. At least that's what I thought. Everything changed one morning about a year ago, halfway through my first cup, savoring the quiet when I heard them engines chewing up my gravel drive tires, spitting dust all over the rhododendrons I planted by hand. Two black SUVs, the kind you see in those shows where someone's about to get hauled away in cuffs. Out comes Sarah Blake, so-called president of the Willow Pines Community Association, dressed like she's heading for a hostile takeover, not a cabin in the sticks. She's got two guys with her sunglasses, arms crossed, looking like security detail for a discount movie villain. "Good morning, Mr. Turner," Sarah says, all sweet and sharp. "We're here about your property. Your HOA dues are in serious arrears." I nearly spit coffee. "There's no HOA out here," I told her flat out. I checked twice before buying. She just gives me this smug little smile like I'm a kid mouthing off. "Our association recently expanded its boundaries. You're now responsible for back fees. $32,000 to be precise." Then she hands me this manila folder, legalese threat stuff that looks official but smells like last week's garbage. "You and your people need to leave," I said, quieter than I felt. One of her guys smirked. "Ignore us, we don't go away, Jack." They left dust hanging in the morning sun, me clutching my empty mug like it was a life raft. That's when it hit me. My sanctuary wasn't as safe as I'd thought. First thing I did was call the county office, got bounced around for half an hour before some tired clerk confirmed what I already knew. My land wasn't under any HOA. On paper, I was free, but real life isn't paper, you know what I mean? For a few days, I tried to let it go, chopped, wood weeded the little garden, kept pretending those black trucks hadn't rolled in. But peace doesn't last when someone's set on breaking it. Next thing I know, I wake up, both my truck tires are slit gaping open like wounds, and there's a piece of paper tacked to my porch. Just business. That's when the anger finally drowned out the fear. I called the sheriff, got a shrug. "No evidence, no suspects. Keep your head down, Mr. Turner. Thanks for nothing." But I didn't come out here to be pushed around by some HOA mob. I started sleeping with a shotgun by the door, set up some cheap trail cameras in the trees, wired up motion lights. Nights were the worst wind. Howling, every branch scraping the siding sounded like footsteps. Hated it, hated feeling hunted like I was prey in my own damn home. So I started talking diner talk, you know how it goes in small towns. That's where I ran into Pete, the owner, hands big as shovels, beard like a storm cloud. "You look like hell, Jack," he grumbled, sliding a coffee across the counter. I told him about Sarah, about the threats. Pete just nodded slow. "You're not the only one they're shaking down. Half the valley's had 'em come knocking. Most folks just pay up or move on. No one's had the guts to push back. That got under my skin. Maybe it was pride, maybe just stubbornness." "What if someone did?" I asked. He grinned for the first time in months. "Meet me here Friday. I'll bring a few folks." That week I turned into a detective, a campaigner, and if I'm honest, a little obsessed. Talked to neighbors I barely knew, heard stories that'd curl your hair. Sarah and her crew finding legal loopholes, faking documents, slapping people with threats until they caved. One woman's dog poisoned. Another guy's workshop burned down, never proven, but everyone knew. Fear works best when it's quiet, but I was about to make some noise. Friday at the diner, Pete brought a handful of battered but determined neighbors, all with stories like mine. I laid out my evidence, the fake docs, the tire slashing, the threats. If we don't stand up now, I told them we're next, all of us. Some looked scared, some looked ready to fight. Pete squeezed my shoulder. You got more guts than the sheriff's son, but guts don't stop bullies, action does. So I called Roy, my old friend from way back now, a lawyer in town with a temper to match his bald spot. Handed him everything Sarah had left, my footage, my notes. They're counting on fear, Jack Roy said. Let's see how they handle exposure. We planned, God, did we plan flyers for a town meeting, complaints to the state AG, the works. For the first time in weeks, I slept the night through, well, almost. Because if you push back, you better be ready for pushback. One evening before the big meeting, knock at the door, didn't even check the peephole, just knew. Mark, one of Sarah's goons, lets himself in like he owns the place. You're making a mistake, Turner, he says, looking around like he's casing the joint. Sarah doesn't lose. She makes examples. I tried to laugh, but my voice cracked. You boys try to make an example out of me, you'll wish you'd picked a different state. Mark leaned in real close. Back off, or something bad happens. To you, or to your new friends. Then he just walked out like he'd already won. For a minute, I really did feel alone, like it was me against a machine too big to break. But that passed. I called Roy, told him what happened. If they want to fight, I said they'll get a war. Next day meeting in the park, 40, maybe 50 people showed up. Some with paperwork, some just with anger. I stood up front, voice shaking but steady. This is our home. If we don't push back, it'll be gone, and so will everything that matters. People started telling their stories one after another like water breaking through a dam. Pete, his taxes doubled by HOA fines. Mrs. Harper almost lost her place over some fake foreclosure notice. You could feel it, the fear shifting into something sharper. But Sarah wasn't done. The next morning, I spot two men walking up the drive, Mark and his buddy Rick. Sarah's muscle again. This time their eyes are different, nervous, mean. We told you, Rick says, voice low. You can end this, or we do. I'd had enough, grabbed the shotgun, leveled it at their feet. Back off. I don't care who sent you, you step on this porch again. It won't just be tires that get popped. For a second, the mask slipped. They hesitated. Two men who'd never thought anyone would stand up to them. You're gonna regret this, Turner. Maybe I said, but it won't be today. They left fast, but that was when I knew it was game time. Called Roy, sent him the footage, finished our complaint. We filed it with every agency we could find, state police, media, even the feds. Plastered flyers for another meeting, told folks to bring every letter, every threat, every scrap of proof. When the day came, the whole damn town showed up, people who hadn't spoken in years, shoulder to shoulder, holding paperwork, old emails, pictures of slashed tires and busted windows. I started off, this ends now. They bullied the wrong person. People cheered, not loud, but you could feel it. The media came, the sheriff showed, and then almost on cue, Sarah's black SUV rolled up. She got out all icy composure, but I could see the panic. You're breaking the law. Jack, this is slander, she said. You'll get your chance to explain. Roy cut in, waving a stack of complaints for the DA and the state AG. I read out the list, names, dates, damages, threats. Each one landed like a hammer. Sarah tried to speak, but the crowd drowned her out. Dozens of voices, finally loud, finally fed up. The sheriff looked from me to Roy to Sarah, then to the evidence. That was enough. They cuffed Sarah and her two goons right there on the grass cameras, flashing, neighbors staring. Her perfect hair all tangled, face red and wild, the queen of willow pines brought down by her own arrogance. For a moment, the crowd went dead silent. Then you could just feel people start to breathe again, like a fog lifting. Nobody cheered, nobody clapped, just quiet relief. I watched as Sarah was led away, stumbling in the mud, Rick and Mark behind her heads hanging. For a second she glanced back, hate burning in her eyes, but there was nothing left to say. She lost. I stood there, shotgun at my side, shoulders finally loose, the weight of months slipping off me, one breath at a time. No one clapped me on the back or thanked me, they didn't have to. It was enough just to know I got to keep my land, my home, my dignity, and the quiet I'd fought for. They thought I'd fold, but all they did was remind a stubborn old man what it means to stand his ground, and judging by the looks on my neighbors' faces, I'm not the only one who won't forget that. Thing is, out here, justice is never neat, and peace never lasts forever. So I keep the shotgun by the door just in case the next association comes knocking. But tonight I sit on my porch, coffee in hand, and watch the pines shift in the breeze, knowing we took back what was ours, at least for now. So tell me, what would you have done? Was I right to fight? Or does standing up only bring more trouble down on a man's head? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear what justice means in your neck of the woods.